I'm a great fan of experimental aspect ratios. Every other one of my videos has a wacky one. This video is 16:9 because fuck the 16:10 minority. Now 16:9 is pretty alright, not the worst, but 2:1 is probably a better monitor. 1:1 is garbage, nothing is ever in 1:1. Even the original Game Boy wasn't a square screen. Barely. Vertical phone layouts are fine. They're all the same really. Wouldn't watch vertically dominant cinema though. 4:3 is pretty good. Most old shit uses it. Art snobs as well. In a movie, it makes things very neat and tight looking. I prefer it to 16:9, which can leave a shot looking empty at times. A good example of this is the anime Gunbuster. The final episode was released in widescreen, kind of, and it looks way more empty and maybe less claustrophobic. 4:3 with zoom in to compensate for TV cutoff looks okay. Not substantial at all. Slightly preferable to 4:3's fat ass black bars. 5:4 and 5:3 are only what I can consider as shit tier intermediate variations of 20th century entertainment. There are some shows which broadcasted in 5:4, not very noticeable right off the bat, but when you notice it, it definitely sucks slightly more ass. 5:3 is just not good, at least not on a 16:9 screen, which I have. It's just a beta widescreen used in Europe or something. It might have looked fine in theaters, but the enjoyment factor in media drastically goes down if I have to watch it in this format. 3:2 is a less widescreen 8:5, which gives it more black bar, which I prefer to less. It's fine, the GBA uses this one. I'd never use it. It's just a wider 4:3. Less cool though. Throughout the decades, nobody really figured out if they wanted wider or not. This is where a lot of supplementary 4:3 aspect ratios reign supreme as different for the sake of different for a bit. That is until we decided, yeah, Americans need aspect ratios to fit theirs. First off, 2:1. It's pretty good, looks nice in cinema, and okay monitor shape too. 21:9 is probably the limit. It's quite wide, ultra wide if you will, but the image is too small. You can't see everything all at once. This one is commonly used on curved screens. 2.414:1 is the silver ratio, and adds decimals, very mathematic. It's just ultra widescreen, I can't tell the fucking difference. 18:5 ultra widescreen 3.6 is such a long name I copy and pasted it, and it is wide to the point of being unreasonable. The name as well, silly really. But not as silly as fucking polyvision used in Napoleon 1927, where you can't see the image, it's so small. In a theater, it might as well wrap around you. Anyway, aspect ratios should all just be unanimously agreed to be 16:9. It looks good, and everything else is too far. If you're an ultra-wide guy, have fun watching YouTube videos with black bars. And that's the problem. We need people to fucking decide. Frame rate has mostly been at 24 FPS for the better half of 2 centuries, so why is everyone so fixated on making things wider and less clear? Because it's noticeably cooler? I do hope the ultra-widescreen 3.6 is the widest cinema will ever get at, since I can hardly see anything at that size, but maybe instead it'll revert to phone screen standardizations. No, it probably won't. Cinema isn't dead or anything, but I really doubt people will make screens wider than 4:1. Aspect ratios aren't used to capture a vision or anything. It's to date your media. Square things are older. Wider things aren't experimental anymore. They're just wider, humorously so. 4:3 was fine, why forget it? 16:9 was fine, people still use it. Maybe it's just a marketing strategy to get people to pay ludicrous amounts of money for shitty displays. Maybe it's just a gimmick one movie did to be stupidly wide, but everyone silently followed and now we have more of the color black than not. It's an unsaid rule that cinema screens are wider than home monitors. Look, isn't this way more cinematic? But monitors haven't changed in 10 years, and still, cinema proceeds to thicken.